I'm warming up my big trombone. Yes, I'm warming up my trombone. I'm warming it up. I'm warming up my big trombone. Yes, I'm warming up my trombone. I'm warming it up. My trombone's getting pretty warm. Yes, my trombone's getting warm. My trombone's getting warm. I fully warmed up my trombone. Yes, I warmed up my trombone. My nightmare is over. Woo.
Trombone Champ, the game where being bad makes it fun. Released in 2022 for PC, it performed very well. Some would even go so far as to say overwhelmingly so. This game immediately grabbed the attention of all who love silly things, which naturally includes me. I so wanted to play it, but as with every game that's released on computers, I was unsure of my laptop's capabilities. So I settled on watching RT Game play through it. About a year passed, and I was watching the September Nintendo Direct, which totally blew me away, and you should watch that video. When suddenly the announcer said,
"This game's a real toot."
A toot, you say?
So I downloaded it and have been tooting ever since. You might be wondering, just what does the Switch version offer that the PC version lacks? Well, oil your slides, fellow trombonists, and let me tell you all about Trombone Champ for Nintendo Switch. Let's start off with the gameplay. Your goal is to play through a selection of songs on your way to becoming the Trombone Champ. As with other rhythm games, you must time your inputs with the beats of the music track. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, that's where the controls come in. See, the trombone is one of the few instruments capable of performing a true smooth glissando. I learned that from the game. However, the inverse is also true. The trombone struggles with hitting individual notes on tune since the instrument doesn't make use of valves, keys, or strings. Because the developers care so much about musical accuracy, they created a control scheme that mimics the slide of a trombone. For the PC, players had to use a mouse to control the slide. But for the Nintendo Switch, what do they got? I got carpal tunnel. The control scheme for Nintendo Switch is absolutely brilliant. This is a rare instance of developers actually making use out of the Joy-Con's gyro capabilities. We've got 4 different control options here. First, there's tilt control. By moving the Joy-Con up and down, you move up and down on the slide. This is what I primarily play the game with. It's a little tricky at first, but it's not so hard once you get used to it. Next, there's IR motion camera. This one is only usable with the right hand Joy-Con because it makes use of the IR sensor. By moving your hand back and forth, you change how high and low the notes are. This one is really hard, but it's what I used for the footage of this video. Third up, we got tilt motion. You're meant to move your arm like you're playing a real trombone, but it ends up being pretty similar to the tilt controls, so I don't really use it. Finally, we have sticks only. I didn't mess with this one because it's just not recommended, and I can see why. It's just not as weird as the other ones. With all these goofy controls, it makes it difficult to play the songs correctly, and that's intentional. When you mess up, they give descriptors like nasty. It sounds so bad, but it's so funny. This game's not meant to be taken seriously, and why should it? I earned toots and turds to spend on gacha games just to fill out a digital card collection, all because some baboons told me to. Yeah, that is a valid way to explain the story. Speaking of, this game has some crazy lore. I'm not going to fully get into it because A, that would be spoiling things, and 2, I honestly don't quite understand it all. However, if I am going to say anything at all, it is this. The lore is just as silly as the gameplay, yet sometimes the path you need to take to progress is very convoluted. I didn't look anything up while playing, but sometimes I really wish I did, because they just give you cryptic hints that just don't make sense. The one thing I will say for those going for the ending is this. Remember to go into the settings. There's literally a checkbox that you have to click in order to beat the game. If you don't do that, you'll end up just like me, banging your head into a wall because you've played the final song over and over again to no avail. It's not really a spoiler because it literally changes nothing else in the game. No visual effects, no sound effects. It just lets you finally become the trombone champ. But other than that, I didn't have any problems finding the sweet lore. Now, the one thing that the PC version has over the Switch is its easy access to mods. I'm not really a person who interacts with modding a ton, but I do have to say that some very creative people have added some awesome songs into the PC game. It's unfortunate that the Switch doesn't really get to have that part of the game, but that leads me to my final thought. What if Trombone Champ added some exclusive Switch DLC? Hear me out. Trombone Champ, but with Nintendo songs. Just think about it. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Pokemon, Donkey Kong, Smash Bros. All of them have absolute bangers, and some of them could translate well into the trombone. But here's the thing, even if they don't translate well, who cares? It's meant to sound funny and bad. I do realize that this is an unrealistic hope, what with all the licensing and contracts and Nintendo being all stingy with the way people interact with their music. But hey, I can dream, can't I? Perhaps one of the developers will see this video and they'll think, hey, that's not a bad idea. So that's that. Trombone Champ for Nintendo Switch is a gold mine for fun. All the goofy controls and songs will leave you cackling like a gremlin, hungry for hot dogs. It's an excellent game to just pick up and play a quick song because you can play it in handheld too. Also, every cool thing about the game can be shared with your friends and family because, what's this? Local multiplayer? Now 4 of you can sound bad at the same time, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Trombone Champ for Nintendo Switch is a 10 out of 10.